Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. For all the talk about what the media got wrong about the last election, how it failed to communicate the stakes for democracy, I actually think people were pretty well warned that Donald Trump would govern as an authoritarian. The biggest miss, to my mind, was on tariffs. They went, to my mind, underreported. And when they were reported, no one believed he would do it, even though Trump talked about it all the time. Although I should note, you would not have been surprised about the tariffs if you were a regular viewer of this program, where we talked about it a lot. We warned about them all the time, starting all the way back in January of 2024. Now, how many Americans, by contrast, know that Trump's 2024 platform includes a 10% tax on all products imported into this country? Everything. Think of all the things that are imported, which would make everyday goods considerably more expensive. That 10% tax thing, the 10% tariff, I'm going to bet that's the first time you heard it. And again, we're going to cover this, right? In the campaign, Trump effectively said this. Yes, America, I know your number one issue is prices are too high, but don't you worry. I'm going to bring them down day one by raising prices on everything imported. That was his pitch in a nutshell. It made no sense at the time. It makes no sense now. But here we are. Trump inherited an economy that was quite literally the envy of the world, and he's basically tried to destroy it in just 100 days. All in pursuit of this one issue, tariffs, that he's been absolutely obsessed with dating back at least 40 years. He thinks that his own force of will is so powerful that he can overcome reality itself. He insisted during the campaign and insists now that American consumers will not pay the tariffs, that the foreigners, those exporting countries will. That is not true. Everyone on Wall Street and in Washington and every economics department in the country has been running around screaming this for a month. It's an import tax. It's a sales tax on imports. Trump thinks he can keep this going like Wile E. Coyote when he runs off the cliff and doesn't look down. But the data is coming in. Prices are going up. Here's a great example. Look at the popular Chinese e-commerce retailer Temu. It sells a bunch of clothes, tchotchkes at very low prices, with the caveat that you are importing them directly from China. Thanks to Trump's tariffs, importing a bunch of cheap stuff directly from China just got a lot more expensive. So Temu, Chinese-owned firm, added a line during checkout to show exactly how much Trump's tariffs are costing you. CNBC ran the experiment. Here it is, $30 to purchase 2 items of clothing from Temu, free shipping, and then $45 in import fees, those being Trump's tariffs, meaning your $30 order is now $75. See, to be very clear here, China's not paying those tariffs. Temu sure as heck isn't paying them. You are paying those tariffs, of course. This morning, there were then follow-up reports that Amazon might consider something similar for some products at their store. A price line telling you exactly how much Trump's tariffs are costing you. And, well, the White House went absolutely ballistic.
I just got off the phone with the president about Amazon's announcement. This is a hostile and political act by Amazon. Why didn't Amazon do this when the Biden administration hiked inflation to the highest level in 40 years? And I would also add that it's not a surprise because, as Reuters recently wrote, Amazon has partnered with a Chinese propaganda arm. So this is another reason why Americans should buy American.
Now, around the time of that briefing, Donald Trump actually called Amazon founder Jeff Bezos to yell at him about the reported plan to basically show the American people, again, how much Trump's tariffs raised their prices. And guess what? Surprise, surprise, Bezos and Amazon caved. The company now says it was only considering adding the tariff line for its subservice Amazon Haul, which is a direct competitor to sites like Temu, where you import cheap goods directly from China. More importantly, Amazon says it's not going to add the tariff line anymore. And, well, Trump was pleased.
How did your call with Jeff Bezos go?
Great. Jeff Bezos was very nice. He was terrific. He solved the problem very quickly. And he did the right thing, and he's a good guy.
It's always nice when a couple of billionaires get together to hide the cost of prices from people who are buying stuff. But look, Jeff Bezos understands the score, right? Here's the thing. Donald Trump wants direct control over the American economy. It's really striking the degree to which this is not a person who believes, even in principle, in free markets. He doesn't like free markets. He basically wants a planned economy controlled by him. That's how he describes the economy. that means he's allowed to run the country like a kind of corrupt mafia state, right? Where he shakes down big companies, he views his adversaries, he cuts sweetheart deals to his friends. His own Commerce Secretary effectively agreed that even talking about the tariffs is an attack on the White House.
If a company were to say we're raising prices because of the tariff, is that a hostile act?
I think if you go out of your way to try to make it seem like your price has changed when it's nonsense, okay? A 10% tariff.
Why is that nonsense?
Because a 10% tariff is not going to change virtually any price. The only price it would change would be a product that we don't make here, like a mango.
Wait, what? First of all, people will absolutely notice that prices rise by 10%. Second, it's not just 10% from China, right? It's 10% for everyone. We're still waiting on all the other tariffs, which are postponed. But from China, it's 145%. I think people will notice that. That aside, Jeff Bezos gets how the administration's operating, so he's not going to tell you about the Trump tax directly. But again, this is really key. Listen to this. It's still going to cost 145% more to import things from China, whether or not Amazon explicitly tells you what is happening. It's exactly the same thing Trump tried to do back during COVID, remember? Where he just hated all the testing and he tried to keep the testing numbers artificially low so that there would be fewer reported cases. But again, this is just so crucial. That didn't actually mean fewer cases. It didn't mean less virus spreading. It was still spreading. People still noticed when they got sick and when loved ones died. So Trump can say whatever he wants. He can bully Jeff Bezos. He could try to sign an executive order that it's illegal in America to note that the tariffs are costing you money. But it will be the case that shipping containers will be empty. We know that that's happening. It will be the case that prices are higher. No amount of lying and bullying can change certain facts about the world. We really learned this during COVID. We learned it again after Trump lost the 2020 election, January 6th, and here we are again. Can't overcome some aspects of reality. And 100 days in, everyone's going to start feeling the impacts of this Trump sales tax.